everyone. Welcome to the session. My name is Somajit Goswami. I'm the founder of this channel, Competition Crusade classes. And of course, you can see today we are doing the passage number 2, slot 3, CAT 2022. We took a detour a few days ago and we talk about life in general, certain things that are happening in my life, but we are now, continuing with our learning agendas. Before we start the session, of course, there is a usual template disclaimer, which is you can watch the video at 1.5x speed. That will enhance your viewing experience. At the same time, I would also like to request you guys that there are a certain number of links in the description. Go and check them out. This is a fairly easy slot compared to the other two slots in the CAT 2022 paper last year. So none of the passages were that difficult. Of course, we will understand as we go along. But one more interesting thing that I would ask you all to do is use a desktop or a laptop computer. That will help you understand certain things. Unless, of course, if you want to do it just for fun, you are watching this video just for fun, then I don't have anything to, give you as a disclaimer. With that being said, let's start the one. All right, so what are we looking at? A fairly short passage. I know you cannot see the passage in its entirety, but it is available in the public domain. I will try to link it down in the description. You can go and you can find a PDF in the Telegram group, or you can possibly find it in the internet. You can just type slot 3 CAT 2022 VRC paper and you will get the exact paper, right? What I want to do at this point in time is I'll read the entire thing, because this is a short RC, just in order to showcase how I take certain number of pauses when I read an RC. What are my basic nuances when I go into a passage? Okay. All right, so let's start with this thing. The first para. Nature has all along yielded her flesh to humans. First, we took nature's material as food, fiber, and shelter. Then we learned to extract raw materials from her biosphere to create our own new synthetic materials. Now bios is yielding us her mind. We are taking her logic. Interesting. So we started off by this idea that, nature has yielded her flesh to humans. So basically human beings started off on a note that we are using the material aspect of the nature, but now we are looking into the mind, the logic. Fairly easy argument, okay, not heavy language, nothing of that sort. Let's read the second para, try and understand. Clockwork logic. The logic of machines will only build simple contraptions. Okay, so this is a very interesting word, clockwork logic. So might as well you would want to pay some, emphasis on it. Truly complex. Now, explanation is given in the next one. Truly complex systems such as cells, meadow, an economy, or a brain, natural or artificial, requires a rigorous non-technological logic. We now see that no logic except biologic can assemble a thinking device or even a workable system of any magnitude. So what are we looking at? Well, we're talking about, we see that the biologic and how biologic can assemble a thinking device. Okay, fine. So no major arguments, nothing of that sort. Let's go to the third para. I'm just trying to get the argument in my head, that what is the argument. Started off with this line that nature has provided us food, shelter, this, and then we eventually used the raw materials to make our own synthetic materials. Nature ka raw material to use synthetic materials, and now what we are seeing is that nature is lending its logic. And now in the third para, let's see what is given. It is an astounding discovery that one can extract the logic of the bios out of the biology and have something useful. Although many philosophers in the past have suspected one could abstract the laws of life and can apply them elsewhere. Philosophers in the past have suspected that one could abstract the laws of life. Now please understand, when we solve the RC passages, it is only that we are going into the depth of understanding. So it can take some time. Okay, so maybe you will take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending upon how interesting the RC is or how complicated the RC is. Please understand, in an exam condition, you will not be solving all the questions. So you will only have a bird eye view. Because I'm doing an analysis, I cannot just give you a bird eye analysis on every video. That is like very rudimentary. Let's go in deep. It wasn't until the complexity of computers. Okay, so now they're giving you the example. Complexity of computers and man-made human systems human-made systems became complicated as living things, that it was possible to prove this. Prove what? That that the laws of life can be applied elsewhere. So this is something that gets proved with the complexity of the computers. It is eerie of how much life can be transferred. So far, some of the traits of the living that have successfully been transported to mechanical system are self-replication, self-governance, limited self-repair, mild evolution, and partial learning. Now, all of these things, your governance, replication, self-repair, evolution, and partial learning, all of these are just examples of how the complicated system or complex systems are functioning. I don't think it has anything. We have mota understood what is the meaning of this thing. Let's go to the next para. We have reasons to believe yet more can be synthesized. Okay, so we think more to that can also be synthesized. Let's understand what is that more, quote unquote more, and made into something new. Yet at the same time that the logic of BIOS is being imported into machines, the logic of the Technos is imported into life. Wow, interesting. So now there is a duality happening. Okay, not a very sharp sharp change of direction towards the ideas, but there is some sort of an idea changing or transference that is happening in this part. The root of bioengineering. Now see, anything after what we have read just now is going to be an example of the biotechno, transference of logic. The root of bioengineering is the desire to control organic long enough to improve it. Domesticated plants and animals are example of Technos logic applied to life. Okay, so domesticated plants and animals are something which is an example of that. The wild aromatic root of Queen Anne's lace weed has been fine-tuned over generation by selective herb gatherers until it has evolved into sweet carrot of the garden. The udders of the wild bovines have been selectively enlarged in an unnatural way to satisfy human rather than calves. So basically now again they're talking about how the Technos logic this thing happened. It's just examples. In a way they're saying that human beings are actually using this thing. The transference of the logic of the bias into the Technos. Now probably they will give you some sort of an example of Technos logic, this thing. Milk cows and carrots therefore are human inventions as much as the steam engines and gunpowders are. But cow milk and carrots are more indicative of the kind of invention humans will make in the future, products that are grown rather than manufactured. You don't really need to understand everything. It's just that you read this thing and make some sense out of it, and then you can go ahead. The fifth and the sixth will read together, will not read them individually, and you can just a second. Yeah, now you can also see this. Genetic engineering is precisely what cattle breeders do when they select better strains of Holstein, possibly some sort of a cow or something, or some cattle. Only bioengineers employ more precise and powerful control. So genetic engineering is what cattle breeders do when they select strains. So these are the people who are, enlarging the bovines or the udders of the wild bovines or something of that sort, right? While carrot and milk cow breeders had to rely on diffuse organic evolution. Modern genetic engineers can use directed artificial evolution, purposeful design, which greatly accelerates improvements. Accelerate improvement is something that is, these guys are reliant, these guys want to accelerate this thing. Okay, accelerate what? Some sort of an evolution, you can say, accelerate the evolution. So bioengineers are able to do that. However, genetic engineers basically had to rely on, you can say, over generations or something of that sort. Okay, I'm just using the ideas from the previous passage loosely. Let us conclude the passage. The overlap of the mechanical and the lifelike increases year by year. Part of this bionic convergence is a matter of what? Now, I know there is a question based on this, because this line, bionic convergence, is a very interesting line. The meaning of mechanical and life are both stretching until all complicated things can be perceived as machines and all self-sustaining machines can be perceived as alive. Yet, beyond semantics, two concrete trends are happening. Human-made things are behaving more lifelike. Life is becoming more engineered. Okay, self-explanatory. I don't think I need to talk anything, speak anything on this one. The apparent wheel between organic and manufactured. The apparent wheel. Okay, wheel is some sort of a, you can say, chadar. Okay, in Hindi, I'm sorry, I'm using vernacular, but the apparent wheel between the organic and the manufactured has crumpled to reveal that the two really are and have always been of one being. So organic and manufacture possibly is, you know, not the Technos and Bios. Probably they are talking about how, you know, this you know, wild carrot or that particular thing, you know, that was happening, right? So having said that, let's now focus on the questions. Let me get rid of everything. The author claims that part of this bionic convergence is a matter of which one of the following statement best expresses the point being made by the author. Okay, so you have also read it. You can pause at this point in time and try and eliminate the answer choices. What are we looking at? We are looking at this particular line. Part of this bionic convergence is a matter of words. Bios and Technos are both convergent form of logic. Yeah, but they generate meanings about the world that are mutually exclusive. Is it mutually exclusive? And if it is mutually exclusive, how is it that we are generating the same sort of meaning? So, I mean, I am a bit confused, and it is also talking about the bionic convergence. And if it is a bionic convergence and they generate meanings which are mutually exclusive, just doesn't make sense. So with that being said, I'll, you know, I can eliminate it at this point in time. I'll keep it for the time being. The bionic convergence indicates that the meeting ground of genetic engineering and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence as a word has never been introduced in the passage itself, so this goes out. A also goes out for the same reason. I don't see any linkage. Mechanical and life are words from different logical systems and are therefore fundamentally incompatible in meaning. This word incompatible, I can for sure say that D has to be my answer, goes out. Incompatible. So I'll read the option number D. Mechanical and life were earlier seen as opposite in meaning, but the difference between the two is increasingly blurred. Exactly the thing that is, you know, quoted in the last line, the apparent wheel between the organic and the manufactured. Organic and manufactured, you can say manufactured is mechanical and organic is life. They were seen opposite in the, you know, initial phase, but now, you know, as technology is improving and blah blah blah, you can see that these two are one, but the one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, question number 6. Which one of the following set of words, phrases best expresses the keywords of the passage? Now, one thing that I know for a fact that, you know, they talk about convergence in the last line. Okay, convergence. So convergence has to be in the last one. There is a convergence in A and there is a convergence in D. So it has to be between A and D only. Genetic engineering and Holstein is just out of the picture. This was a very easy one. You know, Technos logic ka convergence, not conversion, is something that should come in the last, because Technos and logic both are but the one thing, and that is why we are calling them the convergence. So that being said, Technos and logic should follow convergence and not the other way around. So that makes my life easier in terms of picking the answer. This was a very easy question. Okay, 2 questions easy, that means that this was an easy paragraph. Anyways, I think let's not be too much. None of the following statement is implied by the argument of the passage except, okay, interesting question type. None of the following is implied means all of them are false except, so 3 of them are false. One of the statement or one of the options is, one of the statements is true. And exactly what is a true and a false statement? True is something which strengthens the arguments of the passage. False is something that weakens the argument of the passage. We'll read all of them and try and understand that. The passage was fairly short, so if we have to go back, we can go back. Purposeful design represents the pinnacle of scientific expertise in the service of human betterment and civilizational purpose. See, one of the major highlights of CAT is that sometimes you will find difficult question types, and the option, there is a closeness of the option between this thing, 2 option, but if they show you some sort of an idea which is truly out of the scope, which is truly out of the this thing, you know, scope of the passage, nowhere in the passage we are talking about human betterment, nowhere we are talking about civilizational purpose. So this is clear cut false, goes out. Next one. The biological realm is as complex as the mechanical one, which is why the logic of BIOS is being imported into machines. Biological mechanical realm is complex as the biological realm, and that is why the logic of BIOS is being imported into the machine is not something remotely even associated with the what the passage is talking about. So this goes out first up. Between C and D, now I think we will have some genetic engineers and bioengineers are same insofar they seek to force evolution in an artificial way. Okay, so this is given in the passage. Let's go to the next one. Historically, philosophers have known that the laws of life can be abstracted and applied elsewhere. This is also given in the passage. What do we do? So now the problem is that the passage becomes a bit more, you can say, complicated, because now we have two options, one of which is correct. So 50% accuracy in this question type. Okay, I will have to take you back to the passage. Please remember one of the options. You cannot remember both of the options simultaneously. So remember one of the options. I will pick option number D because I think I can exactly quote where exactly this taken from. Historically, philosophers have known that the laws of life can be abstracted and applied elsewhere. Let's go. Okay, we have got the one. So this is the line. Sorry. Although many philosophers in the past have suspected one could abstract the laws of life. Okay, now the highlighting word is suspected. They have suspected one could abstract the laws of life and apply them elsewhere. It wasn't until the complexity and the computers came in and, you know, to prove this hypothesis that philosophers had already suspected that the laws of life can be applied somewhere elsewhere. All right, they have suspected. Now we will go and check whether the option is saying that thing or not. Philosophers have known that the laws of life can be abstracted, and so they have known. This is just a single word. You will see CAT is such a, you know, notorious exam. They will just give you a single word, known, and in the passage it is given that, you know, they have suspected. So with that in my mind, I can very easily eliminate this one, making this to be my answer. Genetic engineers and bioengineers are same insofar they both seek to force evolution in an artificial way. Please understand, this is true also. Genetic engineers, the, you know, the sweet carrot and the, you know, the milk, the cow milk, this thing, people, in a way or the other, they were forcing evolution only. It is just that the genetic engineers had a different way of doing that and bioengineers had a different way of doing that. One of them, or, you know, both of them were, in a way or the other, they were trying to force evolution on the species. Please understand that just one of them were, you know, this bioengineers or whatever, you know, you call them, they had to rely on generational progress. However, the other one used scientific methodologies and all that. So at this point, I'm just digressing. So yeah, this is the answer. I hope you understood. If there is any confusion, you can just consult in the comments. The last question, right? The last question. Okay. All right, this one. The author claims that the apparent wheel between the organic and the manufacture has crumpled to reveal that the two really are and have always been of one being. Which one of the following statement best expresses the point being made by the author? Okay. All right, so let's look into the options. Scientific advances are making it increasingly difficult to distinguish between organic reality and manufactured reality. It is only because of the computers that, you know, this thing started, right? So it is because of the computers that this organic reality and manufactured reality, you know, the wheel between them has crumpled, and we are now looking at things that, you know, eventually they were just the one thing. So this is in a way this is true, but we will have to check the other options. Apparent reality and organic reality are distinguished by the fact that former is manufactured. First of all, we are not talking about some apparent or organic reality. We are talking about the apparent wheel. So this goes out. Easy option. Organic reality has crumpled under the wheel of manufacturing. Wheel of manufacturing? No, it is the apparent wheel. The the chadar that you could see, the chadar has just vanished between organic and manufactured. Organic or manufactured ke beech mein there was a chadar, you can say, a blanket, you can say. The blanket has just flown off. So this is not a wheel of manufacturing. So this also goes out. An easy option. The crumpling of organic wheel goes out. So this has to be the answer. You see, did you understand how I eliminated this? Organic wheel. What is organic wheel? What is manufacturing? Wheel of manufacturing. These are all nonsensical words. So if you pay a little bit of attention, you can actually maneuver through these type of RCs very quickly. This was a very simple passage, a cat passage. If you would have solved this, you would have gotten 12 marks. 12 marks will lead you to some 60-70 percentile. I'm just talking about just 12 marks. Okay. That's it. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you know the drill. Share it with your friends and do the necessary.